وحبيبنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكم؟ الحمد لله. Everybody okay? Every Sha'ban is going, inshallah. It's not going, it must go. Must go, inshallah. Change is difficult. And it's very difficult to stop old habits. And it's very difficult to start new habits. And there's a nice story, I'm not sure how true it is, about a man. He wanted to pray Qiyamul Layl. And so the story goes that he started to pray Qiyamul Layl. And he struggled and it was difficult for him because he wasn't used to it. And then he says at the end of his life, I struggled with the night prayer for 40 days and I tasted its sweetness for 40 years. So to form these good habits and these new habits, it's a big struggle in the beginning. And your nafs and shaitan and the dunya and everything will rebel against you. But as you do something more and more and more, it becomes beloved to you. Your whole system becomes in tune with it. So this is a struggle now, and we all struggle with the same thing. But what's important is we must be struggling for something better. What's worse is if we're not struggling, if we're just content with our condition. And especially this month, really, it's, when I talk to myself first, this month really is where we have to take ourselves to account and prepare ourselves, because if we want that 40 days, you must start before Ramadan. You want that 40 days or 50 days or 60 days, you must start before Ramadan, and you have a better chance of keeping things after Ramadan, the sooner you start. Also, like I find sometimes that it's almost like if you don't do something outside Ramadan, you can't trust yourself. You know what I mean? Something like you do something in Ramadan, you don't know if it's you or just that amazing barakah of the month. Like if you can't read Quran outside Ramadan, it's almost like you betrayed yourself, because you could only do it for 1 month. So I think it's almost all part of proving ourselves to ourselves that I can do it, and I'll push myself even if it's difficult until it becomes easy, inshallah. And you find many of our, I don't know, we all know the stories about the old people. Our old people are very pious, man. Not all of them. Not all of them were pious, but many of them, mashallah, they were good examples of people who were consistent and found sweetness in knowing a little but doing a lot. They knew a little, but they did a lot. They had no nahu and no sarf and no divine speech and iltifat and all that. They just had on their fridge there, read 1,000 astaghfirullahs a day. In the cupboard they pasted there because someone gave it to them. And then for 20 years they just did it because someone gave it to them. Some nasiha. They get one nasiha, they practice for 20 years. We get 2,000 nasihas, we don't practice at all. Yeah, so it's a different generation, but we should learn from the goodness of the generation, inshallah. So this is a reminder for all of us, inshallah. But now we all do divine speech now. Alhamdulillah. So in the last lesson, I asked you to look at the last page of the iltifat. I left the lesson, and then I asked you, there was one page left, and we looked at the last page of the iltifat. What's the page number?
Separate handout.
Separate handout. Okay. The one that says it has two headings. Hasibatum. Shifts in tense, past to present. Do you have it there? Okay, let's go through it. So we covered this list at least. The last part of iltifat we're speaking about here is iltifat. Iltifat is grammatical shifts. We spoke about iltifat in the speaker, Allah, first person, single, plural, third person. We spoke about iltifat in the audience, Allah speaking about you, one male, you, or about them. Now we're speaking about iltifat and also spoke about iltifat in the number, Allah speaking from one to plural. Now we're speaking about iltifat in the tense. Allah says, A'udhu billahi shaitanir rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Am hasibatum an tadkhulul jannata, Am hasibatum, do you think, or have you thought, an, that, tadkhulul jannata, that you will enter paradise, enter Jannah. وَلَمَّا يَأْتِكُمْ, and lamma has not yet. يَأْتِكُمْ has not yet come to you. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, has not come to you the likeness of الَّذِينَ, of those that خَلَوْا, have come مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, from before you. What happened to them? مَسَّتْهُمُ الْبَأْسَاءُ, Massat, struck them, al-ba'sa'u, harm, wa darra'u, affliction, wa zulzilu, and they were shaken, hatta yaqula ar-rasulu walladhina amanu ma'ahu, they were afflicted and shaken so much until the messenger and those that were with them said, or is saying. What's happening there? Were all the verbs before this maldi or mudari? Allah says, Khalo, Massatum, Zulzilu. Is Allah speaking about the current story or previous story? Allah is speaking to the believers today. And Allah is asking, do you believers, do you think that you will enter Jannah and not yet has come to you مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, the likeness of that which of those who passed before you? What happened to those who passed before you? مَسَّتْهُمْ has touched them, has afflicted them, الْبَأْسَاءُ وَالضَّرَّاءُ, harm and affliction, وَزُلْزِلُوا, and they were shaken. What do you expect to come next? The messenger said, or the messenger is saying? Until the messenger said. So you actually expect logically, because it's a past tense story, for Allah to say hatta qala ar-rasulu, because it's finished the story. But can you see the iltifat in tense? Allah moves the tense from the past tense almost into the present tense. Hatta yaqula literally means, I don't know how the translation will translate that, check it up with the translation, but that literally means says. It doesn't mean said, because said is qala. Until says or is saying. The messenger who already passed away, the messenger, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ, and those that believed with him, in this past tense story now. What did they say? مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, when is the help of Allah? Allah says, أَلَا إِنَّ نَصْرَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ, verily behold, the help of Allah is close. So all I want you to make aware of is this iltifat from the past tense to the present tense. From massat and zulzilu to that's past tense, and yaqula is present tense. The next question is why? It's one thing to identify it, another thing to answer why. Both are challenging. Why? Any ideas? What did your discussion group say? Okay, good. Because this is coming in a context where the believers of the current time are struggling. And Allah is saying this struggle is part of being a believer. Do you think you're into Jannah and you didn't get to struggle yet? Like the struggle of those that came before you. But what does the yaqula do? The yaqula is almost like a bridge between the past struggle of the messengers and your struggle. It's a linguistic bridge that connects the current struggle to the previous struggles. You with me? Because the qala would have been more accurate historically, but the yaqula is more, it connects the two times together. It makes it almost feel closer. It makes it feel closer. Last one. وَيَوْمَ نُسَيِّرُ الْجِبَالِ وَيَوْمَ, and on a day. We're speaking about qiyamah. Is qiyamah in the past, present or future? Future. Nusayyiru is the past. Nusayyiru means to move something. Sara yasiru means to move. Nusayyiru means to make something move. Is nusayyiru past tense or present tense? Sayyara, yusayyiru, nusayyiru. It's a present tense verb referring to the future. And on the day that nusayyiru, we Allah, or will we will move the mountains. Watara is tara past tense or present tense? Present tense. And you will see al-arda barizatan. You will see the earth bariza. What's bariza? Like apparent, like flat and clear, plain. Wa hasharnahum. What happened there? Past tense. Not nahshuruhum. You with me? Do you see the iltifat there? We went from nusayyiru wa taraha to nahshuru or hasharna. We went to hasharnahum, and we will gather all of them. Falam nughadir minhum ahada, and we will not, nughadir again present tense. Ghadara, yughadiru, we will not leave any of them. Not leave any of them behind. So do you see the iltifat? The question is why? Why move from the present tense to the past tense? Anybody? We're at the end of the chapter now, so you must have given me an answer now. We did the whole chapter of iltifat over like 4 whole months. You can't just sit and look at me.
It's almost like that the gathering is definitely going to happen, like it's already happened, like it's planned in the past tense as well.
Okay, good. So which of those verbs are the strongest verb? Hasharnahum. Because it's a Maldi verb. And a Maldi is like a done deal. You with me? A Maldi is like a done deal. So out of all the things Allah wants to emphasize there, He says, yes, one day we will move the mountains. You see the mountains, we're going to move it. And you will see the earth all flat and bare and barren. But the most thing you must be certain of, hasharnahum, we will definitely gather them as if it's already a done deal, as if it has already been done. You with me? Because is it more difficult to imagine a mountain being flattened, or is it more difficult to imagine all of humankind being resurrected?
All of humankind.
We can imagine a mountain being flattened, like dynamite exploded and becomes flat. People do it in Saudi all the time. Blow up mountains there, make tunnels and stuff. So you can imagine it, you can perceive. It's not like so far-fetched to say a mountain will be flattened. So Allah uses, we will flatten the mountains. But the thing which is more far-fetched, logically, is then more emphasized rhetorically. You with me? So you think the mountain thing is like difficult to imagine? Because obviously when Arab that time before dynamite was very like hectic. But now Allah is saying that the more far-fetched thing, the more unimaginable thing of raising all of mankind, that one is even more definite than a blowing up of a mountain. You with me? So that is the rhetorical device. And with that we finish iltifat. Alhamdulillah. So I don't know if you how much of that you retain, but we did 3 chapters so far: word choice, word order, and 3 iltifat. And iltifat is a nice long chapter. Okay, but there's a lot of tools in there, and you really have to refresh and use your tools. Next chapter. It says chapter 2, but it's a mistake. It's not chapter 2. It's probably chapter 4 now. Do you have that? Today's handout. Chapter 4. Today's handout. No, the next chapter is today's handout.
What's this one? Today?
No, that wasn't today's. It was last week's handout. Do you have today's handout? Can someone just pass me some more there? This is the lab some. Oh no, the app's fine there. You have enough here? No, they have enough. It's fine. Okay. For today, we're going to do one verse. One verse. It's called degrees of emphasis. Just pass the stack on, inshallah. Okay. Degrees of emphasis. Okay. Before I get into the actual chapter, let's discuss when in language do you emphasize something. In response to what do you emphasize something? Like think about your own speech. Something important, something urgent, yes? Focal theme?
It's the truth.
For example, a lot of you might say, to emphasize something, you'll say, Wallahi. When will you say that? Will you if you say, Wallahi, I'm a man? Well, it's not normal to say that. Wallahi, we're living in South Africa. It doesn't make sense to say that. So when in your own lives do you only say Wallahi? You want to prove something when there's some doubt about it. Okay, so emphasis, one of the things to use emphasis on, in Arabic we call it izalatu shak. Izala means to remove, a shak means doubt. So one of the reasons for emphasis is to make izalatu shak, is to remove doubt. And doubt is different types, but let's leave for now. Another emphasis point also is to remind somebody of something important that they might forget about. They might forget about. Like a simple thing, Allah will emphasize is that this dunya is temporary. Why? Because it is easy to forget. It's easy to live as if you're always going to live here. It's difficult sometimes to live as if you're not going to live here. You with me? So just for now, keep those two in mind. Emphasis used when there is doubt and to remove the doubt. Emphasis used to remove the doubt. And number two, emphasis there as a tool for reminding people of things which they often forget. Okay. Now there are many tools of emphasis. I'm not going to list them. We are going to list them as we do the verse. Okay, we're going to list them as we do the verse. So let's go through the verse. Let's make sure we all know what the vocab is. Wa, what does wa mean? And what does in mean? If. What does idha mean? There's no idha there. What does idha mean? When. What's the difference between in and idha? What's the difference between if and when?
When is past?
If I say when it's going to happen, or I say if it's going to happen, which one's stronger? When? You with me? If I say when the class ends, or I say if the class ends, I'm going to keep you here forever. So when is stronger? So in is if. What is la? La, li normally. Okay, so a lot of las and lis, but the one li is a harful jar, right? Like lillahi, for Allah. But then also there's a li before a verb. That li means in order to, like liyaftah, in order to open, right? Then there is a la, it's a harful jar, but it only comes before certain pronouns, like lahum. Lahum. If it comes before a certain pronoun, that la is a harful jar. But most of the la's, if there's no pronoun after the la, that la is a lamut tawqid. So a lam with a fatha that's not followed by a pronoun, that lam is a lam of at-tawqid. Tawqid in Arabic means emphasis. At-tawqid, the lamut tawqid means it's a lam of emphasis. Okay. So la means emphasis. So what does la in mean? Wa la in means what? And surely if, and definitely if, and undoubtedly if. What's the meaning of massat hu mean? Massat hu means touch them. Touch them. What's nafkha? Nafkhatun? Nafkhatun means like a breath, like it's a breath. Nafkha is a breath. Min from adab means punishment. Rabbika means your Lord. La yaqulunna means what? What does the la with the fatha mean again there? It's lamut tawqid, the lam of emphasis. And then yaqulu means what? To say. What's it now? Look at the end there. يَقُولُنَّ. That's a noon of emphasis. There's two noons of emphasis. What are they? There's two noons of emphasis. The very emphasized one has a shadda, and the other emphasized one, but it's a little bit less, has a sukoon. Has a sukoon. Like yadhabu means to go, yadhabanna means definitely go, and yadhaban means definitely, but a little bit less than the first one. Okay, so that's the two noons. This one noon you call here, you call thaqila. I don't even like all this Arabic stuff. Do you like all these Arabic terms? Is it too much? And this is called, no, what's it called? A khafifa. Okay. Khafifa. This is noon at-tawqid al-thaqila. This is noon at-tawqid al-khafifa. Anyway, the heavy emphatic noon and the light emphatic noon. What does ya mean? Oh, waylana. Wail means like woe, destruction to us. Inna means what? Two words, inna plus na. Surely we were dhalimeen, we were wrongdoers. Okay, so this lesson of divine speech is looking at the angle of when does Allah emphasize something and when does Allah leave something normal, or when does He de-emphasize something. You with me? So there's like a normal way of saying something, then there's an emphatic way of saying something, and there's a de-emphasized way of saying something. For example, I say, I am going to the shop. Did emphasize or de-emphasize? What is that? Normal. Then I add, definitely I will go to the shop. Emphasize. Maybe I will go to the shop. De-emphasize. You with me? Because now I'm adding a maybe. Or if I go to the shop. You with me? So you can move your emphasis points up and down using linguistic tools. Now you tell me what's happening in that sentence in terms of emphasis and de-emphasis. You must look for it. So read the ayah again. To make sure you know what the ayah means. The ayah means, and definitely if a breath of the punishment of their Lord touches them, they will definitely say, oh, woe, destruction to us, verily we were wrongdoers. That's the plain translation. But you must look at the eye of emphasis. What is being happening in the sentence from an emphasis point of view? What's happening? Okay, in the sentence that has two halves, which half is more emphasized? Second half. All agree with me. So the second half is what we would say like super emphasized, and the first half is super de-emphasized. Okay, inshallah we're going to go through now. Wa make a la in now. Wa la in massat nafkhatun min adabi rabbika. Listen to this one now. What is happening here? Is the in emphasis or de-emphasis? De-emphasis. The one point of de-emphasis here is Allah is using an if. He's not saying when. He's saying if. Like if, even hypothetically speaking, this is going to happen. You with me? If it's just the idea of it. You with me? And what is the second emphasis here? It's a definitely if. It's like a strange thing, but Allah is emphasizing the ifness of it. It's like, you know what I mean? Okay. That's number 2. But like, you know what I mean? It's like a different maybe. It's like, okay, let's get on to this one. Next one. What do we mean massat? What does massa mean? Massa literally means this. Massa means this. A stronger word to use is the word, for example, asaba. Asaba means like when you shoot an arrow and the arrow hits a target. Asaba is like a, like it's a strike. You with me? So of the words you can use for punishment, the lightest word you can use is this. Do you with me? Linguistically speaking, the lightest word you can use is touch. Okay. Okay. So the second de-emphasis point, or let's make it less, is that it's the word touch. Okay. What's the difference between Allah saying the punishment touches them and saying a breath of the punishment touches them? Is it different? It's very different to say that the adhabu jahannam is going to touch them, because even that touch is a hectic touch. Allah not even saying the adhabu jahannam. Allah is just saying one whiff, one breath. Can you understand what Allah is saying there? And He's not saying, what's more emphasized? The breath of Jahannam or a breath of Jahannam? The breeze of Jahannam or a breeze of Jahannam? A, because the breeze, like the official breeze is coming. You know what I mean? It's a definite thing. A breeze is like one. Okay, so now we have nafkhatun. So we have two de-emphasis points here. Okay, this is 3, this is 4. The fourth point is that the fact that we use the word a breeze. We didn't say the punishment touches them. We said a breeze. The fifth de-emphasis point is that we use the nakira to make it like any little breeze, not the ma'rifah, the official breeze. Now, so this is the fifth de-emphasis point. Next thing, did Allah say nafkhatun min nari jahannam? Did Allah say that? You with me? What comes to your mind obviously is naru jahannam, but is it mentioned here? No. So in other words, like if this is Allah's like adhabs, like top level adhab is nar. You with me? Like fire is like the top level, highest level adhab. Is it low level adhabs? Yes. A sickness, illness, whatever can be. The point I want to make is that the word nar is a stronger word than the word adhab. Because adhab encompasses both a light punishment and a heavy punishment, whereas nar is only a heavy punishment. You with me? So in other words, adhab is the lightest way of saying punishment. Do you know what I mean? The word adhab, so the sixth way here is, actually the seventh way, is saying the word punishment and not fire. What's the sixth way? What's the difference between saying massathum nafkhatu adabi rabbikum? Touch them the breeze of the punishment of your Lord. Is that heavier?